Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome to what is it? It's a Thursday night, no, Tuesday night Kerbal Space Program live stream. Oh my goodness, it's been one of those days. It's one of those days where you've got a to-do list, but each one of those to-do items is back to back with the next one. So it's like, wake up, do this, and now you're in bed. It's one of those days, But I've got some drink. My voice is on some sort of knife edge. It's not happy. I think it probably sounds okay, I think. But I can feel some things not right. So I'm going to try and reduce the amount I'm talking tonight by mixing me in with a few other special guests. And it looks like a few people have popped along to say hello. Hello, people.
Hello.
Hello.
Yo.
So, for those of you who are not familiar, that was DJ Egg, Jackamak and Brandon. Some of the Viewer Plus subscribers, they've popped in to just kind of, to be honest, bulk up the conversation. But I thought it also might be nice. I think it's a nice solution, potentially. I've never done this before. We can talk about the things that are happening on stream. We can talk about the game and our expectations maybe for the new version, all that sort of thing. So there's opportunity for various different things there. I'll just go take the opportunity to say thank you very much to our Viewer Plus subscribers. We are still fantastically funded. I think we're going to probably need a new goal, seeing as we've reached our 42. But then I guess if we hit a new goal, maybe we should have something else when we achieve it. I mean, 42 was just like, yay, Hellish is funding. He's not going to ditch, making YouTube videos and stuff. But if there's any suggestions from anybody about, like, a goal and how much, and what we should do at that goal to celebrate, then let me know. Either let me know in this stream and go over to the Ideas for Hellish channel. So it sounds like Mr. Beantown would like to join us. That's all cool. One of the moderators just needs to double remind him it's a family-friendly stream. And we're going to get cracking in Kerbal Space Program. But before we crack on with what we're going to do today, which is science. Science with some science. And then after that, maybe some science. We got a reminder of what we did last time, so here we go. Thank you very much, Jackamak. Here's a little compilation. We want the Kestrel 4 and get some brand new engines. Oh, this thing's gonna just absolutely fly. Activate the engines. Throttle up. Put takeoff mode on. Takeoff mode is off. It's loud. We are already going probably... Oh, whoa, it's a little bit twitchy. We're already going faster than a kilometre a second. 1.5 kilometres a second. We're starting to get overheating. And we're maxing out on speeds. But the heat just keeps going higher. How high is this going? It was going 40 kilometres up. Okay, we got flame out in the end. It's actually getting hard to keep the aircraft in the air. That looks like a successful water landing to me. So for a water takeoff, we need to be pretty steady. I've deployed the winglets here. That's our takeoff winglet. Oh, easy. Oh, the thingy. Oh my goodness, I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, we're climbing. Okay. Oh, this thing is just ripping through the sky. Oh my goodness, the wings fell off. Where did the wings go? Any landing you can walk away from. Oh my goodness. So there we go, folks. There is a reminder of what we did last time. I really enjoyed making that aircraft. That Kestrel was very good in its previous iteration, but it's not that great in this iteration. There's some sort of like balance problem that's gone wrong from the changes that we've made by trying to change and add technology. So today the goal, apart from me speaking softly, is to get more science, like as much science, all the science. Now at the moment we've got 2 space stations, both processing science, which is cool. But I can't even remember if we've got all the science from on Kerbin. So if anybody can think of... Trees. Well, we did scan trees, didn't we?
Did we do all of them in all the biomes?
We only did 1 tree.
Yeah. So let's have a look at the list of trees in the game.
I mean, maybe what we need to do is like think about amount of science versus amount of effort payoff. Right. Because flying to various trees would be very... I would thought would be relatively easy. But like, are we only going to get 3 science per tree, and it's going to take us a while? Lawrence here, watching on YouTube. Hello, welcome. Hello there. It says, glad to catch you live. Yes, it should be easier to catch me live at the moment. If you check out the schedule on the website, you can see that I'm currently doing live streams 5 times a week in 2 different time slots. So
what you need to do is like fly to every other planet and then deliver the science to one of the science producey things.
See, that's another thing as well. One of the things we could do is just fast forward time, because those space stations are making science. Hey, Mr. B-Town. So, yeah, that's one of the things we could do to get more science. Also, I know that when you upgrade the buildings at the Space Center, the new buildings actually present new science opportunities as well. So, for example, this R&D department is actually made up of several different building complexes. Now it's fully upgraded, and each of those building complexes you can do the whole batch of science at. It's like when you upgrade the tracking station. Oh, I just accidentally clicked on it. I think you can do like you get the little antenna, the little satellite dishes at the various different corners. Each one of them you can do the science at. So that would be something we could do, is like make sure we've got all the stuff at the Space Center. Now that would be relatively low effort, but I believe the payoff would also be very low. So what I'm going to do is, whilst we're looking into this and thinking about what sciences might be good, or what ideas any of the Viewer Plus subscribers have here, is I'm going to nip to the tracking stations, nip to the space stations, and just retrieve whatever science we've already got. Mr. Beantown has an idea. Okay. Feel free to share.
I have a question.
Sure.
Have you yet gotten... Do you have any mobile science labs in a polar orbit of the Mun? Or any planet?
No polar orbits. We have got science labs in orbit of the Mun and in orbit of Kerbin, but what we're doing is we've got a lander with all the science equipment on it, and then it docks with the space station, drops the science off and stuff. So we've got options. Why was you thinking about like orbiting round, getting the science and getting it that way?
I have a save where I got a few thousand science from putting a mobile science lab in a low polar orbit of the Mun, and then getting EVA reports from every biome, because the craters all count as biomes, and the Mun has a lot of craters. It's just like the major craters, but there's a lot of different biomes on the Mun that you can get the science from. And I've gotten a lot of science that way.
That sounds like a good idea. You must have been flying relatively low to be able to get that, I think. Because Because at the minute, the space station that we've got going around Kerbin, I've just checked this, and it says
It's to be
temperature.
a low orbit.
Yeah, I bet it does, because the orbit that got going around Kerbin at the minute for the space station is 100k orbit, and it just says while in space near Kerbin. Now, I don't know if we've done all of the ones like near the Mun, far from the Mun, and I don't know how far you have to go out to get that. But also, the lander at the moment is on the land. Oh, actually, there's two. Oh my goodness, I'm getting confused.
The only it's only EVA reports that yield biome-specific science. In
Oh,
low
when you're
orbit.
flying over them,
I
okay.
think mass spectrometers do. And I think if you're in the atmosphere, it does for the no, not the temperature scanner. In the atmosphere, the goo is biome specific. I think the fluid mass spectrometer is biome specific. And then obviously EVA reports, but that's it. Even crew reports are just general. So that would
Okay, so
probably
it
be
is
why.
just that, is it? Okay. What we're looking at on stream now is the new lander that got stranded in orbit of Kerbin because I forgot to put the solar panels out. There's nothing we can do with this, so I'm just going to nip inside it and just rename it to debris and trash, so I know I can get rid of it.
Rendezvous it. You could rendezvous with it.
I
and then,
don't know if I can, because it has got a docking
people.
point. No, it has got a docking point. I could do.
No, all you need to get to is within a few kilometers of it, and then you could use a Kerbal's EVA pack to deploy it via Kerbal, like on EVA.
They only have so much fuel though.
Oh!
I mean,
Yeah.
It depends on how close you rendezvous to it, though.
what's the matter, Jack?
I just bet 1,000 and I got it.
Oh dear. Oh, it's a good job it's not money and it's hellish points. Well, your idea is good, but I already made a second lander and sent it to the moon. So this is actually all we'd be doing is bringing this back
It's
to.
useless now.
It's been replaced. So I'd be sending a rocket up to retrieve a rocket for the funds for the rocket. So I may as well not just send the rocket up. So just for ease and quickness, we are going to trash it. You're right. If I was low on money and I hadn't already sent another one, or I wanted the challenge, it would be you are definitely correct. You could definitely do that. For those of you who are betting with points and all that sort of thing, I am thinking about adjusting the point system. So instead of it being run from Streamlabs, it's run from my website. And we would have more visibility of leaderboards, and we could link in Viewer Plus better and all that sort of stuff. I'm kind of on the edge about whether to do it or not, so we'll see.
Would that be a reset then of all the points?
I'm not again.
No, I would export them, and I would do some sort of special thing where if your Twitch username on the website matched the listing in the export, then it would transfer them.
Mine doesn't though.
Well, I'd give you a chance to upgrade, to fix it beforehand.
Also,
Right,
do you get more science from this space, the science to data around the moon?
Okay, so it depends where the science harvested. The place where you get the most science or the most multiplier is if you do it in orbit of the body of which it was collected. So if I go to Minmus and do science on the surface, if I send it to a science module in orbit of Minmus, that's optimal. If I bring it back to Kerbin and process it in orbit of Kerbin, that's kind of second optimal. And then if I come back and... Kerbin isn't necessarily the worst. No, basically it's around the orbit of where you got it from, then around orbit of Kerbin, then landing it on Kerbin. Like on the surface or directly recovering it, they're the worst. Like your primary option is to do it in orbit. The secondary option is to do it on the surface of where you got it. And then the tertiary option is to do it in orbit of Kerbin. and doing it on the surface, like having a lab on the surface, I don't think is as good. I can't remember now. But basically, when I read the article and worked it all out, I figured out there's only really 2 ways of doing it, and that's either in orbit around where you got it from, or in orbit of Kerbin. Those are the 2 options. So, and we're going to try and get as much from the moon as possible. The weird thing is that we've actually got 2 landers at the moon at the moment. Oh yeah, we've got for the fuel station at Kerbin, the fuel truck. There's a TR-10 second stage going around the moon. Now that's the one that's, I think, ran out of fuel. And then we've got our owl, which is our observatory. So why have we got 2 landers on the moon? Is one of them the trash one, the old one? I'm going to have a look. Because it would be nice to use one of these landers to sort it out. Oh yes, this is the trash one. So this is I'm going to rename this to Scrapyard. So if we look inside the door, there's the probe. We're going to rename the vessel to Base Moon Scrapyard.
Apparently, in this game, the best way to make money is to turn ore into monopropellant and sell the monopropellant.
I mean, we're not really worried about money. We've got over 1 million in credits. It's the science we want, but it sounds like a good thing to do.
Tasty science.
Indeed. So I'm just going to now skip over to... So we've got this experiment control station, which is currently doing this gather surface deployed seismic center science from the surface of the moon. That's only just been deployed because last time we were getting it from the other experiment and I swapped the experiments over. So this is only just started. So we should see that 0 to 50% increase over the course of today. Explore Eve. Well, we've already sent a probe and it's going to take 1 billion years for it to get there, so never mind. We haven't detected 2 comets yet. So we will have to keep an eye on the owl that's going to do that. Oh, I need to do the...
Takes a while.
Yeah, I need to do the Flea Solid Rocket Booster at launch site mission and any other very quick, easy missions while we get more ideas about the way to do science. I think the way that we're going to end up doing science is probably hopping around the moon with this, the Moonlander 2, the new Moonlander version. This has much better Delta V because it has a little bit more fuel, so it's got 2 tanks instead of 1. It's got less monopropellant, so that's less mass for that. And it's also got a more fuel-efficient engine. So it is more efficient. I can't remember if I designed this between streams or on Discord. But yeah, it is definitely good. And the Delta V is good. So we could probably afford to do some hopping around. Go up to the space station, refuel, come and hop a little bit more. So... hopefully we could do that. In fact, it might be good just to get the scientist into this lander, up to the space station, refuel, and then just land it somewhere else and gather a load of science. I don't know. I can't remember what science things we put on this. And the solar panel flap kind of gets in the way a little bit. But
do you have the most important one? Goo.
What's that? I have Goo. I have Goo and I have the Science Junior. And then round here we can't see very well because there's no sunlight. Has this thing got lights? This thing has got lights, but...
well, it's hardly rocket science, is it?
Well, it is...
oh, yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, it is rocket science.
It is rocket science, but we can kind of use the shadows to see, look, we've got the seismic center light. If I log seismic information... oh, actually, we get that.
What is the goo?
It's Goo, innit? I think that's the whole point of Goo, isn't it? It's like, what is the Goo? Nobody knows what the Goo is. So I think what we might do is get our scientist, get him to drive or walk over here and do some science and then go up to the space station and drop it off. The problem is, I'm pretty sure the space station is full. Like, full of science. We'd have to fast forward a bit.
Make
So if
another
any-
one. Have 2.
Sorry? 2 labs?
Yeah.
We haven't got any more scientists with the level 3s to really do it properly. I mean, we've actually got a level 2 scientist over here at the moon base.
But you don't need to be 2 to use the lab. It's just more faster with more.
Yeah, I mean, the base itself actually has science equipment on it. So it might be worth actually saying, okay, let's transfer crew, or transfer... Oh, it's gone off the edge of the screen because it just doesn't fit. User interface size... Okay, we're going to get him out and do it manually. Maybe this is what's going to help us here, is actually to have 3 labs in operation rather than just 2.
Yeah, more labs. It means more science storage and more science being produced.
Yeah, but it just means we get a better amount of science if we do it in orbit. But the problem is the one that's in orbit is just saturated, so we may as well have this one running as well.
Oh,
so
I was thinking of adding more to the
Oh, so what you're saying is add another module. Well, I think if Real Fella went up and sat in the space station, I think it would process quicker.
Yeah, like having more labs on the space station. You'd also need more power up there, though.
Oh, there's plenty of power on that space station. I don't know if you can just have... Like, I think a lab can have multiple scientists in it, and it all process faster. Should we try that? Mr. Beantown it's on a full stomach. Epic Miner, hello, welcome.
There's no harm in trying unless you kill them.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a high chance that we'd kill them. What we will do though is we'll just log and keep these experiments, seeing as we're here, and take them up with us. Keep experiment. I kind of want to process them in this lab because it means we're going to get in quicker.
Yeah, but it's just worse, right?
Not that much worse. I mean, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up now. I'm going to look it up. Let's have a look. And I'll let people know what we find out. So, on the wiki... okay, so the way it works is there's a science value, which is how much the science is worth. There's a surface bonus. So the surface bonus is like a multiplier or a bonus that tells you when you're landed or splashed down on a body. The context bonus is when the lab is within the same sphere of influence as where it originates. So you actually get, I think it's 1/4 bonus. Yeah, there's a 1/4 bonus for being in the same sphere influence, and if you're landed or splashed down on Kerbin, then it's I think 1/10.
Yeah, Kerbin is. Landed on Kerbin's terrible.
Yeah. So, an experimentation result is processed into amount of data based on its original source science value and its physical location of the lab at the time the data is generated. There is a 10% bonus when the lab is on the surface, 25% bonus for processing within the same sphere of influence than where they were taken, and a 90% penalty on Kerbin's surface. These combine.
Okay, so ideally you have a lab around, orbiting every planet.
Exactly. Oh, hang on. It says these combine. So it's actually better to be on the surface than in orbit. Because it's not orbit, it's sphere of influence. So it's actually best to be on the planet's surface, I think.
Really?
Yeah, because you get a sphere influence is just like you're within the gravitational field of
Yeah,
that
an
object.
orbit's a gravitational field.
Yeah, so basically you get 10% for being on the surface, 25% for being like in the sphere of influence, and you don't get the 90% penalty for being on Kerbin's surface. So actually, the lab on the surface appears to be best.
Well, that's only a 10% bonus.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you get the 10% bonus and the 25% bonus.
Oh, it's
Yes.
stack.
Yes, it stacks. So the data, I don't know exactly how it works with the maths, but basically it's the science value multiplied by the surface bonus, multiplied by the context bonus, then divided by the penalty of whether you're on Kerbin's surface. So in theory, if you had that's why it's always best. Don't bring your science back down to the surface of Kerbin. At least process it in a lab orbiting Kerbin, because you're not then getting that 90% penalty. You're essentially if you orbit it in if you don't process it in orbit and bring it down, you're essentially dividing your science by 10.
Right, so we should have science labs on the moon then.
On the surface, yes,
Yeah.
that's where. Right, actually, so what I think we might do is swap the Kerbals round. We'll bring the high-leveled Kerbal down, and we'll send Real Fella up to the space station.
If I could play this game, it'd be amazing.
Hang on a second, I'm just going to double-check, like, the levels of... Because, like, how does the level of Kerbal affect this? Oh, here we go.
Faster.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's 2 stars makes them able to use labs, and then beyond that, it's just fast.
I don't think there is an able to use labs thing. I'm not seeing that here in the... by the way, folks, I'm looking at the wiki. This is Epic Miner's like, my head hurts already. It's okay if your head hurts already. On Monday, I recorded a Minecraft live stream. Head out to my website to go check it out, or go over to YouTube and on my channel and check that out. I think it's actually also as a VOD on Twitch, so you could look at it there. So yeah, it's 3 different places. Yes, so it's just speed. It's not actual amount of science. So science process per day is 0.8 for a 2 level and 0.9 for a 3 level. I'm rounding there. So actually I don't mind having a level 2 on the surface. It's just going to take a little bit longer to process. So what we can do is, if we review data, process in the lab, you can see that we are already processing and we've got 66 data to process. And then let's just work our way across these here. So that it won't let us process the pressure scan in the lab, but I can't remember what I already put in there. It might have been the pressure scan. Let's add that to the lab. So let's just pin the lab here. Fantastic. So what we got, so we've done the temperature, then the mystery goo, we can review the data and add that to the lab. We can't reset that yet, but what I'll do is I'll get Real Fella out to do that. What I'll probably do actually is just get Real Fella to nip over to the other lander and just do the other experiments that aren't here on the base. So let's log seismic data. Process in the lab. Yep, we haven't filled it up yet. Now the magma meter boom, I'm almost certain is only when you're in the air. You can't do it when you're landed.
Wasn't that thing you was using as struts?
I wasn't using it as struts. I think it was just
oh no,
something.
to make it look cool.
It was to make it look cool. So we're going to EVA Real Fella, and we're going to get Real Fella to just let go, and just use his RCS to just nip over. I can't see. RCS, please. Oh, there we go. Nip over to the Lander 2 before the sun sets. Right, okay, so really what we need to do is land a lab on Minmus, at the Minmus base. That's what we really need to do, isn't it?
Can't you just deorbit the current one?
there isn't a lab in orbit of Minmus. The space station at Minmus is like a minimal resupply and docking station. It's not a full space station,
Okay.
unlike the Kerbin ones and the. So yeah,
More
Dexter
science
says,
then.
Dexter says, hello, how's the stream going? Okay, so far we've been doing a bit of theory work. We've been trying to work out what the best things are to do to get science and the best ways to do it. So we've been doing a bit of that. I don't want to jump at them. I need to jump to get on this craft, but I don't want to do it right now because I'll end up hitting the solar panel. There we go. So we're going to do the material study. And you can see this is this is all from the far side crater, so we can keep the experiment, but then like collect the data and restore it. And actually, while we're out here, we ought to get Real Fella to do an EVA report. Oh, that's not going to help, but we'll keep the experiment anyway. Maybe we can process it in the lab, I'm not sure. We can do a take surface sample, keep the experiment. Not sure if that's going to help, but never mind. What else can we do? I don't think there's anything we can do on this that we can't do on the space station. Let's on the moon base. Let's turn Real Fella's lights on so we can actually see.
I mean, apart from going to different biomes.
Yeah, apart from going to different biomes. We have rovers, so in theory what we could do is disconnect the science equipment from the base, the moon base, and then stick it on one of the rovers.
How much EVA data can you store at once?
As long as they're unique, I believe the Kerbal can carry infinite. So, like, if you have an EVA, like 6 EVAs from the same place, that just, you can't store that in the same place. But if you have multiple containers on a rocket, and then you put the same experiment in those different containers, you'd be all right then.
So you could go around doing EVA reports with a rover.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the EVA report, haven't I? Yep, and I've done the surface sample. That's fine. So now we're going to grab the ladder with F. We're going to reset the mystery goo. Restore it. There we go. We are going to store the experiments in the lab. There we go. And we may as well board. Oh, pressing the wrong button. We're not using the stick at the minute because the stick's for flying, not for EVAs. And then in here, in the processing lab, you can see it says review data 3. That's data that's in the lab, like stored, like data that's stored, but not actually being in the process section. So if we review that, we can go, oh, process that. And we can just check to see how much space we've got left. And then we've got the EVA report. Now, the EVA report, even though it would have yielded 0 science, still gives us data. So we can stick that in there, along with the surface sample, and we're now at 622 data out of 750. We've pretty much maxed it out.
That's wacky.
Nice.
So we now have this maxed out, and pretty much the other 2 in orbit. We've got 3 labs now maxed out. Now the question is, we could put a lab on Minmus, but we've really only got 3 decent scientists, I think. So let's just head back to the space station for a little while and just see what the situation is with our Kerbals. If we've got another level 2 scientist and you guys want me to do it, I'll put a lab on Minmus.
Labs for the win, am I right?
Labs.
Do
Let's
you
have a
have
look.
another scientist?
Brandon, you are our only remaining scientist, and you're level 2, so we could send you to Minmus.
There's some applicant scientists.
There is, but why pay for a new applicant which is going to cost us 104,000 when you're sat there waiting to go. Should we send? Do you want to go to Minmus? I mean, I know you went there, and I kind of left you there by accident.
More ice cream.
More ice cream. Now the thing is, what we don't want to do is put Brandon in the lab when we try and land it, because that's what happened with these 3 poor people that died. So we want to. There is actually already a lander there, isn't there? At Minmus.
Think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, what's the best way we can get this lab over there? Let's build a TR-10 rocket. And if we do an expendable second stage, that will help, because obviously we don't have to worry about some of the things like parachutes and things. That brings the mass to weight ratio and the radiators down. And then if we go to space station, no wait, not space station, bases, and put base lab. No, hang on a second. We need the lifter module on top first, so we can give it a fairing and stuff. Base lab on top. Just use the reroute tool to change the part that we want to connect. And there we go. Now, one of the things I know is that Minmus is so forgiving that we do not need RCS on this. Also, the probe that's on the lab is terrible, but we don't really need that probe on there. It does have solar panels, but it doesn't have its own communications, which it would need. So let's just check. Yep, it has SAS, and it has batteries. Let's take the monoprop off. Yep, that's all the monopropellant out. So yeah, if we do an expendable second stage here, in theory we're not going to do any docking, so I'm probably going to take the monopropellant out the second stage of the TR-10. What do we think?
Yeah. If it works, it works, right? I'm not the greatest at making rockets in KSP, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not the important. I mean, one of the things we might need actually is to lower that module down gently, so then we might actually need. What's wrong with the second stage? There's like a break in the skirt. Okay, I'm gonna just take the lab off for a second and put the second stage back on. Oh no! I accidentally just loaded the second stage and nothing else.
Whoops.
Yep. Well, I guess we're starting again. I wish there was like an undo for that, because the number of times that I do that, and it wouldn't be so bad if sub-assemblies weren't so terrible. See, this is exactly what sub-assemblies are made for, but the staging just doesn't stack up well, and I don't know. I did try and do this as a sub-assembly, and it just made my head hurt a lot more than it should do. Just need to make sure I click merge instead of anything else. I'm not even sure this will get to Minmus. I mean, how heavy is the lab?
I know you can build bases and go to other solar systems in KSP2, but I wonder if you'll be able to build rockets and stuff on other planets, but at bases you make.
Yeah, you can. I've seen it in some of the videos they've done.
Because, like, the moon has less gravity.
Yeah, so?
Easier to launch.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Alright, here we go. Let's see if I can press the right button this time. There we go. Okay, so this is the TR10 plus lab. I'm going to save it separately now, so in case anything goes wrong, we can go back to this point. So we'll take the parachutes off. We'll take the radiators off. If we're not re-entering the atmosphere, we don't need any of those things. We don't need 2 sets of wings. We will put 1 set of wings on. There, that's where it just went weird.
More wings is more better.
Okay, let's open my save because that went wrong. You what, Brandon?
More wings is more better.
No, more wings is more weight.
True, but
And
stability.
You don't need that much for stability. The reason why there's 4 wings on it is for re-entry. And if we're not planning on bringing this second stage back, then why would you have the re-entry wings on it? So we're going to take the RCS off the lab, and we're going to give the lab a set of communicators. I think just 1 communicator will actually probably do the job. There we go. And the space station in orbit acts like a relay. So I think what we'll do is that if we fly this, the question is, do we put Brandon in it?
No.
Do you think it's a bad idea to put Brandon in this?
Well, it's putting all your eggs in one basket there.
What?
Although you
Brand-
wouldn't have to fly me up again.
Putting all your Brandons in one basket.
Well, if you put Brandon in it, you should at least have RCS
Why?
to land it.
It'll probably land on the using the second stage. So the second stage will land on the surface of Minmus, bum down, and then it'll just slowly tip over, and the RCS on the second stage will lower it, and the landing legs will cushion the thing. And you've got to remember the gravity on Minmus is so ridiculously small.
Smaller than the moon.
Much smaller than the moon. Much smaller than the moon.
It's 0.005 G, if I recall.
Okay, I'm looking at this, and the thrust to weight ratio is within range for this thing to launch as it is. So in theory, we could just send this like this. Like, part of me is saying, look, just put Brandon in the lab and send it, because everything's going to be fine. But another part of me is saying, look, why would you do that? It's like, you don't need to send Brandon at the same time. Why risk sending Brandon at the same time? It's like, is it a shortcut worth taking? It's like, what are the odds of this gonna go wrong in terms of landing and exploding? Bearing in mind that we just did this with a passenger crew, we managed to land the TR10 on Minmus, and bring them back again with the same ship. And yes, it fell over, but we managed to get it back up again. That's how easy it was. So I think all we've got to do is land this nice and slowly, let it fall over gently, and Brandon's going to be fine. That incident on the moon was me trying to make a custom-built rocket-propelled landing system which I'd never tested before. Yeah, I think I've convinced myself now. Brandon, are you willing to board?
Sure.
Tough, you're in it. There we go.
Is it covered in drogue shoots?
That wouldn't matter on Minmus. There's no atmosphere. I mean, if it's going wrong, like for example, let's say you're coming in and you're coming in quite quickly, and it's like it runs out of fuel, so it's going to crash. Just get out.
Yes, true.
Just get out and use your RCS pack to land.
Although that reminds me of a concept lander.
So-
one.
Yeah, a real life concept lander, where to land on Mars, they cover the entire ship in like balloons, or like bouncy absorbers, so that it just bounces along the surface until it comes to a stop.
It's a legitimate concept. Right. I think this is going to be worth getting the science. Oh, hang on, I just realised there's no science on it. Oh, you need to be accompanied by an engineer who can move the science items to one of the rovers. So we need to add science on this. Oh, hang on, no, wait a minute. There is actually already a science vessel on the surface. We need to go and check what science it's got, and what it hasn't got we'll add to this. And then you'll have to be accompanied by an engineer. Jesse can come with you. So let's just go to the tracking station and check out the existing surface thing, the surface science on Minmus. So, Minmus Science Base. Hopefully it doesn't bounce up too high into the sky when it loads, because that happens. I don't know why. There you are, look, there's the bounce. But it's okay, it didn't explode this time. So, what have we got? We've got the Science Junior. See, the Kerbal isn't going to be able to detach that and put it on a rover, because it's just too big. But I guess we could just leave it and do everything else. So we've got a temperature, we've got a barometer, and we've got a mystery goo. So anything that
you need.
So, and it's not far away from the main landing sites, I think. Yeah, it's not far away from the landing site. So over here, you've got the two rovers. And there's... No. Well, that's it. You've got the two rovers. So if we can land the science station near the rovers, then we can come over here and nick some of the components that we need. So I guess we just leave the Science Junior out of it. Okay, so we've got those three things on it already, and we can borrow them. We can borrow them, okay. What other science do we want on the surface of Minmus? Can you think?
I can't remember what sciences there are, to be honest.
Let's take a look.
Because you can't fit a Science Junior, right? Whatever that does.
I could put it on, but we'd only get the reading from wherever the lab lands, because we wouldn't be able to transport it around. So it'd be like a one-hit pony.
Yeah, it doesn't seem worth it moving that thing around. It's too big.
So we could take the... There's the atmospheric fluid spectral barometer, but I'm pretty sure that only can be used when there's an atmosphere. The seismic accelerometer, we need that.
So you couldn't use it at a party I'm at then?
Sorry? Because there's no atmosphere.
Yeah.
Ah, very funny, very funny. And then, you know what? All the other items are so small and light. We'll just stick them on anyway. So this is going to be a little bit like the other lab. The difference is that we'll be able to take these, stick them on the rover, and drive around with them a little bit. So we'll be able to get these 4 pieces of science, and that's why we've taken an engineer with us. Is there an inventory? There is an inventory. What should we put in the inventory? Repair packs?
Yeah. Has it got an antenna and solar panels?
It has got solar panels and it has got an antenna.
Okay, good.
EVA repair kit. So we can get 4 of them in without having to need anything else. We could try that ground anchor thing again, but I don't know, like, if we could really get it to work.
Is it like a docking port for the ground?
Sort of, yeah. You have to put a docking port on it, then you'd have to dock to it somehow.
That sounds weird.
It does. I don't think we really need anything else. There's an EVA experiments kit, which I don't know what it does. Which doesn't help really, does it?
Just says case full of various devices. That's not
Mm.
helpful.
I mean, we've got a slot. Let's put one of them in there anyway. You know? The only thing that we haven't got on this is any lights. So it might be a good idea just to pop a couple of quick little lights on it. So let's go to utility. Should we just do one big floodlight? No, that seems like... Let's get 2 illuminators. So if I rotate that round... Why is it always the last direction that I rotate something is where I want it?
Because that's KSP. The same applies to me in space engineers.
There we go. So we've got 2 lights on this now that are probably overkill. And we probably also want some little ladders. So... I don't know if that's the right direction. No, but our engineer will be able to sort those ladders out. Oh, undo. Yay.
You know what you could do, which is a bit wacky?
What?
You could put like a science lab inside the bungalow and send that to the moon.
I mean, no, that is just ridiculous. That is pointless. Absolutely. Right, look. We've got a science module, we put some science bits on it, we put some lights on it, and we put a ladder on it. We put you inside, and we put in Jesse Kaboom inside, and we're sending it to Minmus.
Ooh. Ooh.
And I think we're ready to go. And we're using an expendable TR-10 second stage. We'll retrieve the first stage. Let's hope nothing goes wrong, because this has got no parachutes to land with if it does. If this doesn't make orbit for some weird reason, like it spins out of control or something, we've got to use the rocket engines to land it.
Oh god. That's fine, we've got EVA kits, right?
I guess.
Parachutes?
Yeah, I could get them to jump out and parachute if it was falling slow enough, which this should do.
Wait, did the Kerbals have parachutes?
Yeah, they can have parachutes in their inventory now. So, in theory, as long as you're not flying too fast in a jet, you could jump out and parachute to the ground if it was all going horribly wrong. These guys have got parachutes. They won't need them on Minmus. We did go to Minmus last time, but last time it was a return trip and we wasn't carrying a little base, and now we are. So here we go then. We're going to try and use my controller to get them there. We're going to throttle up to maximum speed for the main engines. And SAS is now on and enabled. We have an idea of how much fuel is on board. We've got an ablator and electrical charge. It's all looking good. The wind is okay, and I think we're ready for launch. Checking the staging, and we've got clamps release, along with all of the engines on the booster stage going first. Stage separation will drop the booster from the second stage, and the second stage will light its 3 engines. And then that will allow us to deploy fairing and land our booster. So in theory, we should be good. So it's always a little bit nerve-wracking when there's real Kerbals involved, and when you name them after your Viewer Plus subscribers, it's usually a little bit more nerve-wracking, isn't it? But
what's fun? We've got 44 members to name them after.
True. It's True, but I've already killed 3 of you, and I don't want to kill anybody else. But here we go. So, hoping that everything's fine, and launching in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we've cleared the clamps. Everything looks good. I'm putting fine controls on and giving us a rotation ready for pitching down range. TR10 is up 1k.
What you could do at the end is get all the Viewer Plus Kerbals together in one place and have a party.
That sounds good. I mean, the problem is that not all Viewer Plus are in the game, but it would probably be a massive pain to try and add them, to be honest.
No, I mean just the current ones.
Oh, yeah.
Whichever ones are current.
We'd have to bring back some of them from the surface of the moon and stuff. If I remember correctly, everybody is okay except the scientist on orbit of the moon, because there's no return craft for him docked there at the moment. Okay, so we've passed the 13-kilometer mark and we're pitching over. Craft is stable and accelerating good. We've got about a third of our fuel left for the first stage. Speed is also good right now. We're actually getting delta V readings from the first stage. Trying to get it to pitch over just that little bit more. With the last bit of fuel, we're about to get stage separation. We just went past 1 kilometer per second and we're nearly 40k up. So there's stage separation. Switching to second stage, lighting up the engines and leveling us out. We're actually upside down at the moment.
You're in space. It's fine, there's no upside down.
We're not quite in space yet, but we are upside down. So for me, the controls are slightly inverted. I'm pretty sure if I press 1 on the keyboard, nothing will go wrong, but it will deploy the antenna and the bits and bobs there. That's good. And if I stage one more time, we will get the fairing deploy. So we're just going to throttle back on those engines before fairing deploy, because we don't want to be accelerating through the debris, to reveal our mini base. There's no accommodation on this base. They're just going to live in the science module. Okay.
Nothing will go wrong, but it can get interesting.
It could definitely get interesting. Okay, so let's just see here. We want to try and get an orbit, even if it's suborbital, which is long enough for us to be able to land the booster. So we need probably around nearly 90 degrees in terms of time. So that's probably going to be fine. So they're in a suborbital flight at the minute. We're now going to switch back to the booster. We're going to tell the booster to go prograde down, because it's got a heat shield on the prograde there on the end of it. There's the heat shield on the end of the booster. So it goes in front first, and then it does its flip maneuver and drops the engines towards the bottom, because the bottom of this is much heavier. So once it gets out of space and into the atmosphere, then that mass really becomes like relevant, and the whole thing flips round. Because it's a big empty tube, it's relatively light, and as it's flipping, that helps it to decelerate a lot, meaning we don't get any heating because we're decelerating quickly due to its size and mass. That's how this works. And that deceleration then allows us to open chutes. If we were doing this without the flip maneuver to produce the drag, it would probably just go like a dart into the water and rip the parachutes off. Probably. So let's just fast forward now. Probably. So we're going to see it quite soon that it's going prograde down, but all of a sudden it will start to lose stability, It's like there's only so much it can do to try and keep that nose down. It's happening now. And then that's when this kind of flip happens, and it makes us decelerate that little bit more. Like it pulls an extra, nearly an extra G of deceleration while it's in that sideways flip position. We can even toggle the SAS off now, it doesn't matter. That extra deceleration is what allows us to slow down enough to deploy the drogues and everything. See, now we're going down pretty much straight, but by that time we've already slowed down to just over 700 meters per second. From over, it's about 1.5 kilometers a second, I think. So here we go, we're about to deploy drogues. I do it at about just under 2 kilometers. Let's see how close to the surface we can get this one to settle. So I'm going to go at about 300 meters, maybe a tiny bit less. For main shoots. There we go. Are we going to stop this in time? Easy. There we go. Settled at about 70 meters up. Nice and smooth. This is so far the only way that I've been able to be successful in recovering boosters like that. I think doing a repulsive landing would be much more difficult because it is more difficult, but also you have to leave fuel inside, which again doesn't give you as much push into orbit with your second stage. So hopefully now we can circularize the orbit of the second stage. I don't know where it's gone. Where has it gone? Who's that? There we are, TR10 plus lab. Just make sure we don't terminate it with Brandon on board. I'm sure you won't be very happy about that, Brandon.
No.
Does that kill the Kerbal?
Mm-hmm. Terminating a ship with Kerbals on board kills the Kerbals. You get one warning message. And if you just click yes, they're all dead.
Wow.
Right, so what we want to do now is to make this the most efficient circularization. We're going to time warp until the highest point of our orbit here. And we're going to make sure that we're pointing prograde, which we will. There we go. And we're just going to circularize the orbit at the moment. I'm not trying to get to Minmus yet. We're going to disable the less efficient engines that allowed us to get up high enough before the booster got too low in the sky. So if we weren't trying to retrieve the booster, we could probably leave those other two small engines off this craft and just slowly coast up into an orbit. But because we have to get into a bit of a higher orbit to give us time to go down to the booster and come back up again, we needed those extra engines. But we can turn them off now because they're not as efficient. We can just use the main engine there to circularize our orbit. So there we go. So we're currently suborbital, and now we are not. That easy. Now for some reason the game doesn't calculate our delta V on the TR10. No idea why. No idea why it absolutely refuses to do it. So look there.
Two things connected to each other? Or?
No, it's something to do with this second stage and the way that the engines are connected to the fuel tank and stuff. I haven't been able to figure it out. It's almost as if the engines aren't connected to anything, but yet it still works. So we're doing good. We're just in orbit, so we don't have to worry about anything now. We do have to now get our phasing right for getting to Minmus. And Minmus's orbit is on a massive wonky path. And it's better when you try and get it at its either ascending or descending node. So that's where its path kind of intersects where your orbit does. So what we'll probably do is just circularly orbit Kerbin for a while until Minmus is round to our 3 o'clock-ish. Because looking down at Minmus's orbit now, Minmus is at about 6 o'clock and it's pretty much on one of its nodes. We're too late to get it. So we need Minmus when it's at 12 o'clock. It's almost exactly 6 o'clock for Minmus, so we're just going to fast forward. Now this is good because that means our 3 labs that we've already got will be processing data. I mean, in theory, we could set it up so that Brandon's processing data right now. In fact, that seems like a very good idea. Here we go. This lab, by the way, is not going to have a lot of electrical charge, but it's going to have enough. It doesn't store much, but you can send it in packets anyway. So we can't really see what's going on very well. I guess we could try and turn the lights on. Power is not stable here in the dark, but if we do like log pressure data, put it in the lab, we can take that with us and process it along the journey. We can't log seismic data because we haven't landed. Log temperature, put it in the lab. Log mystery goo, put it in the lab. There we go. And then the lab, we can... Oh, why does it say clean experiments? Oh, it's the one on the outside. Oh, can you do that from the inside? Oh, wow. So, if you're in a lab, you can reset and clean those experiments that are attached to the outside of the lab. Brilliant.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're going to do... I'm not going to do start research because that drains electrical charge like crazy. We'll just take this with us. Because the last thing... We would still have control of this aircraft, but we haven't got a pilot on board. The last thing we want is our probe to not have what it needs to have. Okay. So let's see. What's our current situation? So the lab's fine. Let's turn those lights off again. Where is Minmus in its phasing? So it is only just past 6. We still need to fast forward a lot more. So Brandon is going to orbit. Just actually, who's on board with you, Brandon? Can you remember?
No, I cannot remember.
Okay, well the screen's shaking a little bit because you're flying around Kerbin like you wouldn't believe. You've actually been orbiting Kerbin for 9 days now. And I think Minmus is almost perfectly in the right place. So we're going to do one more half orbit to come down to the bottom, and then we're going to start our burn to transfer. So we're just going to warp down to that bottom bit, and we'll try and intercept Minmus. There we go. It's going to be a prograde burn, so the craft needs to turn around. The only weird thing about this now is it's got these flaps on the side that are completely useless. They're like never going to be used ever again. But I'll tell you now, without these flaps, that long rocket would not have been stable enough to launch like we did, especially with that heavy payload on the top. Okay, here we go then. Let's see if we've got enough fuel to get you to Minmus and land you safely. Okay.
Would be good.
It would be good. Fuel is dwindling. But your orbit is expanding. My drink just dwindled. I've ran out. It's probably a good job it's got caffeine in it. Okay, your fuel is down to about 1/3 now. But your orbit is now approaching the orbit of the moon, and once it gets out there, it very quickly gets to the orbit of Minmus, and you need very little fuel to land on Minmus. It's one of the reasons why a lot of the tutorials say, actually, don't shoot for the moon first, shoot for Minmus first.
Weird.
Because it's much more forgiving to land on. The difficult bit is actually timing your orbit so that you hit Minmus's orbit nicely. Now we haven't, but that's not a problem. We're close-ish. Because what we'll do is we'll set Minmus as a target. And you can see there that even though our orbits don't cross each other, we're actually not that far apart in the grand scheme of things. So we're 2.9 million meters, I think. Yeah, so it's 3,000 kilometers Okay, now that sounds like a long, long distance when you're doing dockings and rendezvous. But in the grand scheme of orbits and stuff, that's not a lot because we're 47.5 million meters out from Kerbin. So it's not a massive amount. What we'll do is we'll do an adjustment halfway round. So we're going to warp to here in our orbit. And this is one of the most efficient places to do most of the adjustments we might need. So to work out which adjustment we need, you either need to be clever or use a maneuver node and figure it out. So I'm not clever enough to do that. In the words of Mumbo, I don't think my 2 brain cells could manage it. So I'm just going to tweak my maneuvers here so that I'm trying to bring these 2 points as close together as possible by swinging and rotating. And there we go. We've got a pass of Minmus, and we only have to use 8.2 meters per second of delta V, which is really quite good. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that marker. So I'm going to just make sure we're on stability assist and gently turn us round. Now we could use RCS to help turn us round, but I'm going to use every inch of that RCS later on if we don't have any monopropellant on board according to this. We should have. I mean, I know I took it off the lab, but the TR10 second stage should have monoprop.
Oh dear.
It should have monoprop in its bay. Otherwise, how does it ever do anything? What? I could have sworn the... Hang on a second. Let's go back to the Space Center a moment. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Right? It's going to fall over slowly. It's got landing legs. It's on Minmus. It's going to be fine. But I could have sworn the second stage had monoprop in it. And I don't remember ever taking them out. I know I took them out of the lab. Right, here's a mock-up of the second stage. Yeah, look. There should be monopropellant in the top of the second stage.
Did it leave empty? Like, did you set a thing for it to be empty or something?
Well, unless I accidentally took those ones out instead of ones out the lab. But then we would still have monoprop. I must have accidentally taken them out of both ships.
Got to send a drill, I suppose.
I mean, it doesn't need it. It doesn't need monopropellant. It can land without monopropellant. It's not doing any docking, so it doesn't need it. It's just, I thought it'd be really good to have to help with the deployment. Where's it gone? There's the lab. So it looks like I've taken the monoprop tanks out of the lab and taken the monoprop tanks out of the second stage. Tell you what though, folks, if we can get this to land without falling over, for any reason whatsoever we manage to do that, we'll disembark Brandon and Jesse before tipping it. Yeah, look, they should be in here. No, wait, let's go down a bit. Yeah, they should be in here, the tanks. And they're not. I took them out. I must have took them out. It's the only logical explanation. Okay, never mind. Right, let's go back to map view. So what we're going to do is we're going to move our spaceship and point it in the orientation that we worked out with our maneuver node. Then we're going to remove the maneuver node just to make the interface cleaner. And we're just going to do a slow burn until those points get close enough for us to have an intersection. Oh, there we go. And I guess if I do a little bit more... Cool. There we go. So now if I go if I do focus view on Minmus, you see that we've got this pass here. It's a 2,000 kilometer pass. We can walk to that particular point in time, and it doesn't matter which way we're going around Minmus. If we normally, when we approach Minmus, I try and approach it in a way where we're going round Minmus in a certain direction, and that helps with docking with the space station and stuff. But we're not doing that. We're landing and we're never coming back. Well, we might come back, but if we're coming back, it's not in this ship. We're going to send another rocket to meet up. So now comes probably the biggest bit of this now in terms of fuel. And that's actually circularizing around Minmus. So capturing our orbit around Minmus. It's going to use up most of our fuel here to do this. There we go. It's coming in, and captured. So just bring that periapsis down. We've got a 30 kilometer there. That's not bad. It's a bit wobbly, this orbit, but what we can do is we can let the orbit process a little bit until we actually end up over the landing site, so we don't use any fuel to do that. So now we're just going to go around the other way. This flight's already been going on for 24 days now for these poor Kerbals. So we just need to flip round. We've got no monopropellant for some reason. It's like Brandon even helped me with a bit of a checklist, didn't you?
Yeah, but only with solars and what's the other thing?
Yeah, but you didn't ask me, did you accidentally take out anything that you shouldn't have done?
Yeah.
You didn't ask me that, did you?
Say you need
No, I
monopropellant.
There we go. Okay, so it looks like it's just an absolute and utter fluke, but we're nearly almost flying straight over the base already. Now, which way round are we going? To the right. Okay, so we're going to have to come in over this mountain and then drop onto the base. Base. The best place to twist that orbit and do our final adjustments is probably at this point here, the lowest point. So we probably want to do like some normal or anti-normal. So we want to twist, from our perspective, we want to twist the orbit clockwise. And from this perspective, I'm almost certain that means anti-normal. So let's have a look. The craft is rotating. Again, we don't know how much delta V this craft has got because KSP refuses to calculate it for some weird reason. But here we go. There, look, I was right. There's the orbit going straight over that base now. We know that the landers are somewhere... the rovers are somewhere near that base, but it doesn't show us in this view. We can turn them on, I think. There you go, look. They're just down there. So now what we want to do is come to probably about here and do a little retrograde burn. By the way, guys, if I accidentally kill you, I'm sorry.
I'm sure it's fine.
I don't know. We've got 500 units of fuel left. 500. Well, actually, no. If we look at fuel and forget about oxidizer, it's 451. But, like, I'm going to now do it so we almost get a landing straight out. And if we just put it... There we go. Right. So that will get you over the mountain and plop you almost perfectly there. For some reason, it skewed the orbit slightly, so I am going to do a slight burn to try and drop us right between that science base and those rovers. By the way, this science base will be replacing that science base. The engineer will sort it out.
Yay. We're the scientists, we don't have to worry about that.
There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to make sure we're in retrograde. We should probably get those landing legs out just in case I forget later. There we go. Now, I'm not worried about the orientation of the craft as it lands, because we're going to try and land on our end, and it could topple over in any direction. We have to rely on the reaction wheels to rotate us so that we can land on the feet. Worst case scenario, it starts toppling away from the feet, and we have to rotate 180 degrees to get there. Now actually, worst case scenario, it starts toppling just a little bit in the wrong angle. I press the wrong button, we actually have to rotate all the way around.
Could be funny.
Yeah, so we're going to add a maneuver node just above the base here, and we're going to just go, oh, what? How much delta V would it take for us to completely null out our sideways velocity? And it's saying 175 meters per second. It's saying it can't estimate the burn time. See, that's something, it can't estimate burn times, and it can't give me delta V things of our vessels, which is a bit weird. But with this like, my confidence level with this amount of fuel is so we'll see how that goes, shall we? Let's warp to just above the hills. So once we get below a certain height, there is a maximum warp speed on Minimus anyway. So in theory, we are actually going to land slightly to the left, which is fine. I'm not worried about that.
Plus, warp tends to just destroy everything you've made ever anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a little bit of a weird burn. It would use very small amounts of fuel to do this last little bit, so like, let's do that. It is a tiny amount of fuel in comparison. The last thing we want to do, though, is get that line perfectly on top of them, because it means we could actually land on it.
That would be bad.
It would be bad. So we're now going to put ourselves retrograde again. We're 5 kilometers up, and we're still quite a distance away. I think we might land short. We've got 166 meters per second at the moment to counteract, plus whatever we have as we're falling, because that figure will keep going up. One way to make this a little bit safer is to continuously slowly burn to try and keep your speed the same all the way down. So, like, for example, you're always approaching at about 50 meters per second, and then you could just crank it up a little bit for that last little bit. But that's not fuel efficient at all. You want to burn as much fuel as possible as late as possible.
And madness.
I'm almost thinking we should just give us a little push up. I don't know. See, if there wasn't Kerbals on board, I would not be worried about this approach. This is a good approach at a good angle, but there's Kerbals on board. So I don't want them to die. I think once we get under 3 kilometers, we can't time warp. So let's get down to that height. Yeah, there you go. So we automatically changes to 1 times speed. We're going over the rovers more or less now. So I'm going to start a burn. Look how quickly our surface speed is going down. So we're just passing the rovers and we're coming up to the science. And we are arresting all of us, nearly all of our sideways momentum now. Here we go. And we're going pretty much straight down now. So the rovers are here. The old science base is there, and we're heading straight down. Now we may break solar panels and stuff. We can probably take some of the equipment off the second stage here and actually add it to the moon landing module thing. But you can see I need to work out the twisting. So if I twist... Okay, so the twisting's opposite. If I wanted to rotate to my right, I have to twist it left. I need to remember that for the landing.
Oh god. Is there a way of changing that?
Yeah, you put the lab on the other way round. So this is actually the belly of the rocket. Really, we should be looking at it like this. And again, that's still backwards. Right, so we are 600 meters up. I'm going to slow us down a little bit. Okay, we're doing okay. Still coming down quite quickly. We're coming down quite flat, very little sideways movement. That's 300 meters. We're still going quite quick, but I'm only doing short puffs. 200 meters. I'm going to slow us down a bit more now. We're coming down at about 10 meters per second now. And we're down to our last 100 meters. 8 meters per second we're dropping. 7 meters per second, 70. This is going to be a relatively hard hit potentially. Stability assist going on now. Oh, actually, this is going to be almost perfect, so I need to just get really ready with this twist. There's touchdown. And are we going to tip, or is it going to stand? Tip or stand, tip or stand, tip or stand, tip or stand. Looks like the SAS is working overtime to try and keep it upright. But it's doing it. Okay. So I'm going to assume that this is not going to fall over, so I'm going to quick save. What we probably want to do now is get Brandon and Jesse out in case the tipping maneuver doesn't work. What do we think, chat? What do we think, Brandon?
I think we should get out and then tip it over so it's flat.
Okay. I'm going to EVA you first because that was your idea. Jack has won the heist twice. Well, congratulations, Jack. Right, so here we go. So we've got Brandon EVAing. I have to let go in order to turn the RCS on. But there we are. So we're just going to move you a good distance away from any potential explosions here.
Perfect.
And then we'll do the same with... It's Jesse, isn't it, that's on board? There we go. Now, hopefully we don't get the Minmus bouncing effect when we go over to it. Nope, looks okay. Jesse can EVA. So we want to do a let go RCS and get Jesse over towards you. The rovers are only 1.3 kilometers away, so that's not far at all. There we go. It's probably a little bit too close. And now we can attempt to drop this thing over. So I guess I could try and drop it in the right direction. So...
We should have brought a spoon.
Sorry?
We should have brought a spoon.
There's probably one in the lab, to be honest. Right, we're going to extend the antenna on the lab. And we're going to extend the solar panel. Just one of them. Just in case like the connection breaks or something and then we lose control of it. In theory, if we put you on board, we'd be alright, I think. But let's do it anyway. So looking at the... Oh my goodness, am I going to be able to get this to tip over without rocking it? Here we go. It's going. I think. The SAS system's fighting it. It's like the tipping point here. It's just holding it. I'm having to push very hard on the stick to get that to fall. The SAS system's holding it up at the moment.
The SAS is doing like...
I'm going to retract that solar panel. The SAS is really doing well here at keeping the lab up. But I think this is it now. It's on its way down. I don't think the SAS is going to stop this. Let's watch from this angle.
What's the SAS use for power?
Electrical charge. You can see it's jittering around the corner. So there we go. Here we go for the final drop. Plop. You see, I didn't even have my hands on the controls. I was sat here with my arms folded. This has been like the most smoothest planned out thing I think we've ever done.
that mean you can get to like orbit with just SAS and batteries?
Just SAS and battery. Well, no. How would you move forward?
SAS.
SAS doesn't go forward. All it does is rotate.
Yeah.
That's just the only direction you can get. What you can do, and it's really, really cheesy, and I don't know if they took it out of the game, is you can have a really long rocket with two fuel pods, a fuel pod at either end.
Oh yeah, the momentum thing.
And you can change your so you can get it rotating, but then change your center of mass by transferring fuel from one side to the other. And because you're changing your center of mass as it's rotating, you can essentially get it to step and move around. Now, something interesting, which I didn't think. We might actually be able to get this rocket back up again after disconnecting. What do we think? I mean, you can see it's trying so hard right now to lift that lab. Let's undock. Let's disconnect. I mean, it's not. I don't think the SAS system's got enough to be able to get it to come straight up. But if we do the let's put it on the solar panel trick and try and get it to lift up from there. No, it's not enough. Without RCS, I don't think we can get that up. Which is a bit of a shame. The other thing we could do is do that thing where we slowly blast it towards a mountain. Should we try that?
What? So it just sort of launches itself off of
Yeah. Yes. People have actually built ramps on Minmus and have got rovers to get like up and like sort of in orbit by just going up a ramp.
That's silly.
Yes. But look at the curvature of Minmus. You can zoom out a little bit and you can see the curvature. That's how small it is, and that's how little gravity it has.
It's a very small moon.
What do we think, folks? Should we try and get this in the air?
Why not?
Why not?
Okay, I'm going to retract this solar panel, though. And we'll go on our belly. And we'll go really slowly at this hill. Can I move this in this plane? I don't know. Let's see. The thing is, though, if we go slow enough, we'll be alright. Jod says, yeah. Just going to head towards that big hill. We've delivered the base, the Minmus base. I think it's quite cute that the Minmus has, like, a mini version of the moon base. And a mini version of the space station as well. It's got like its own little mini setup. Right, here we go, folks. I'm going to try and keep the camera quite steady as I do this. I have no idea if this is going to work. It might actually be a good idea to go up to the surface of that surface, up to the edge of it quite slowly. The good thing is we're on sort of like some sort of salt lake or something. So it's actually a very smooth surface to drive skid along. Now, Brandon...
I'm not paying for the paint.
You what?
I'm not paying for the paint you're going to scratch off.
No. This vessel was always a throwaway vessel. Let's see. Next time, put wheels on it. We could have. The only problem is we would eventually run out of fuel. If we put electric wheels on it, then yeah, we could have used this as a giant rover. Because it has got a solar panel. I'm pretty sure we've got enough fuel to get this into orbit. Actually, it has got a docking node on it, so we could potentially get this to the space station. Potentially. I mean, I don't know what...
get it up.
Yeah, but the thing is that this has been designed so it's never going to be able to re-enter Kerbin's atmosphere. Well, actually, it could do. The only thing is that you'd have to do a repulsive landing. You'd have no
Might
option.
explode.
What?
It's got no parachutes for a start.
That's what I mean. You'd have to do a repulsive landing, i.e. engines. You would have no option. But if I was able to get this to dock at the space station, we could then send another ship to refuel it, and then we'd be able to potentially bring it back. But, and here's the big but, we'd have to send another ship to refuel it. So, like, what's the point in retrieving a ship if you've got to send a ship to get it back? Right. Oh, something just exploded. Oh, everything just exploded. Well, that was always risky. So I'm pretty sure what happened there was the RCS port that was sliding along on blew up, and then the impact of the tank dropping down on the ground made the tank blow up.
Well, you go in the air.
Yep. It's that we're going to call that as a suborbital flight. This is part of. Also, look at the way that the engine is connected to that. It's not, and I think this is part of the reason why we can't get Delta V readings off this. Like, the engine's not connected to that skirt, and I don't know why or how. It's the weird way it got connected. Anyway, that's all debris. We've still got the probe here, and we do have limited probe control, I think.
Partial success is still a success.
So we can retract solar panels and stuff, but there's the antenna. We'll leave this on the surface and probably nick its lights and stuff at some point. There's the rovers. One of them's upside down. Let's get Brandon and everybody else into their new base. Get them. Now, they're not going to be able to get the bonus for processing the stuff that they got from Kerbin around Kerbin, but they're going to be able to get the next lot of science to have a really good bonus. So we're just going to put Brandon here for the moment. Oh, actually, we brought repair packs. Have an engineer, Chris says, have an engineer recover the solar panels from the destroyed stage. I mean, we could do. I mean, we do already have solar panels here, so there's no major reason why I think we'd do that. And we've got our science base over there, 2.6 kilometers away, that we could nip to and get bits from if we wanted to. But whatever science we do here is only what we would have been able to do at the base. The only difference is that over there we've got the materials study. So we've come over with the engineer so that we can do this little bit of reconfiguration with the ladder first. So here we go. So there's the hatch. I can't see very well because we're not facing the... Let's come out of that. Can I extend the ladder? See, the ladder I think points the wrong way. Yeah, it does. So we need the rotate tool to just like move the ladder out. Yeah, that looks good to me. And then we can come back out of that mode. Should be able to just climb aboard. There we go. And we can turn the lights on. I think I want to adjust where these lights are, but let's get everything extended. And we have got comsats in orbit of the moon as well. So this antenna will go up to a comsat. So if we go to map mode now, turn on the sat network, you can see we've got lots of different things coming off the surface. Nearly all of them are going straight back to Kerbin. But you can see we've got these other green lines here into the various different directions around. So if we didn't have direct access to Kerbin, one of these comsats that I can just show you by switching that. There's the orbits of them. Now I've the same as everything I do in Kerbal Space Program. I haven't done it a clever way. I've done it the let's put loads of them in orbit and one of them's bound to be okay way.
Ah, yes. The classic
So
way.
so we've got 5 communication satellites, all in different sorts of orbits, all in different inclinations, and you're going to be able to connect to at least one of them, right?
I once saw someone build like 1 billion satellites, attach them all to the same rocket, fly off and orbit the highest gravity planet, deorbit, start spinning the ship, and just detach all of the satellites. And they just had the entire galaxy covered in satellite coverage.
That sounds interesting. It's a weird way of doing it, but
Very weird way, but it works.
I guess
Why
it would work.
not? I don't know. Why not?
Right, there we go. So now we're on board. I don't know how much we're going to be able to do good science with this. So if we start the research and look at that sign, the electrical charge. It is dropping.
Need to get more solars then.
We'll go and nick the solars from the second stage. So let's do stop research. EVA Jesse. I think what we might do... Oh, Jesse got out the other side. Where the ladder isn't. I mean, it doesn't matter, but... Let's try again. EVA. How strange. Oh, never mind. Drop. How do we drop? Space to let go. RCS. There we go. So the rovers actually have a lot of solar panels on as well. I don't know where... Yeah, there's a load of debris over there. So how far away is it? Less than a kilometre. Okay, so jump. Yeah. There we go. Keep an eye on the monopropellant, otherwise it's going to be a long walk back.
It's like Space Engineers all over again.
Yeah. By the way, we're going to be doing a bit of Space Engineers this week. Oh, actually, it's tomorrow, isn't it? Tomorrow lunchtime.
Tomorrow morning-ish.
And actually, tomorrow lunchtime is a special one.
Oh?
Because I just so happen to be not working that day. Which means we can extend it out. Normally my lunchtime live streams are about 50 minutes to allow me to be able to, stop working, get back to what I was doing and all that sort of stuff that I need to do in the working day. Oh, I just realised I'm not going to be able to carry these solar panels because I've got a parachute on.
You unequip the parachute?
I can't dump it anywhere. I have to dump it in something. So I don't think I can just like trash it or something.
Oh, that reminds me. We need to up the PCU limit on Space Engineers.
Okay, well we'll look at that. I might have to nip back. Can't think of what I can do. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go backwards and forwards with this.
Like you should be able to dump stuff on the floor.
Yeah, but you can't by the looks of it.
Maybe it's because it's like part of the suit.
No, you can take it off. You just have to put it in storage. Which is a bit of a shame. I should have gone over to the rover first, then I can drive backwards and forwards. So what I'll do is I'll go over here, get rid of my parachute, which I'll probably never need. If I remember correctly, the lab has some storage in it, so we should be okay. Oh, travelling a little bit too fast. There we go. You don't want to travel too fast on the surface of Minmus. You'll end up bobbling around all over the place for ages. There we go. F to grab. And we don't have to actually get... Oh! Yeah, the inventory is full.
Oh yeah, it's full of those science packs we put in.
And whatever that is.
That is the
Maybe-
science pack. And
let's-
the other one is the...
Hang on a minute. Let's get Jesse to board. We'll get Brandon to put the science pack on. And we'll see if we can use it. So if we let go RCS and... There we go. For a moment I thought you was doing that thing again. We're just walking in midair.
That was weird.
I found out that if you don't resolve that and leave and come back again, the Kerbal just disappears and gets marked as killed in action or missing in action. So can I... Let's see. There's a perform EVA science. So presumably that's with the science pack. Oh. Oh, that's fantastic.
He's playing golf.
Yep, EVA science experiment. It didn't get used.
Yeah,
We could
quite a bit of science.
We take a surface sample. We'll... I don't know what to do. It's like...
We're going to have to send another rocket here with just an empty storage.
Well, no, there is the lander that's in orbit, which I'm pretty sure has storage in it. But we can check. And it doesn't take much Delta V for that lander to come down. The only problem is that we've only got like one full round trip's worth of fuel left, I think. So we can get down to the surface and back up to the space station, but I don't know if we've got any more fuel in it than that. And actually, it's just about to pass over as well. So if we switch to it, we can find out. I'd hate to have to land the lander, though, just so that we've got some storage. Yeah, look, inventory space, too. Full of fuel.
Ooh, good.
Oh, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
Well, we won't be able to get back down. So you'll be out of fuel, right?
What? No, this lander has enough fuel to get down and back up again.
Oh, right, you're just going to fill it up with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then send it back up
Well,
drone-wise.
That's right. I was just going to put the parachutes in it or something.
Yeah.
Like, take it down there, put the stuff that we don't need in it. The other option, and this is ridiculous, we attempt to deorbit the space station and land it on the surface.
God, that seems even worse.
Well, I was just thinking, it's got massive solar panels.
I mean, yes, it does.
I mean, one thing I could do is I could take the lander down there. We could bring the engineer up and nick one of the solar panels. But I wouldn't have enough fuel then to bring the engineer back down again. We have got a lot of monopropellant on this space station, though. Deorbit the space station. I mean, it's a shame that the docking port for the lander is where the engines are. So I'd actually be burning into the space station. That can't be good.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
But... No, I can't think of a... Oh, hang on. I'm wondering... Does the old science thing... The old science base, does that have storage inventory in it? Or maybe could one of the people, one of the Viewer Plus subscribers, do like a Google, like destroy inventory component or something?
Sure.
Okay, so there's fuel on this. There's solar panels on this. But there's nothing else we could do about it. I mean, there's not a lot of fuel. I mean, the one thing we could do is actually fly this a little bit closer to the base. As soon as we have full control and we've got plenty of fuel.
You have an engineer?
Yeah.
You can give the items to the engineer, and he has a crane hook, which will then get rid of items in their inventories. Apparently.
Get rid of items. Okay, we'll have a look at that. I'm
They'll
gonna
put it on the ground.
I don't know if you can do that with like parachutes and stuff though. Like you can do it with like parts. I don't know if you can do it with other inventory items. So let's have a look.
This is just the first result on Reddit.
Okay, so I want to be going that way-ish. Okay, here we go. Whoa, steady now. Oh my goodness, this has got so much torque. Okay, what's that? That's the ship. So we want to be heading for... It's still labelled the ship, but never mind. Let's have a look and see what's going on here. It's not enough for me to be able to see what's going on. We're just going to have to eyeball this. It's fine. I'm just trying to bring it a bit closer. So basically, we could get all the components from all these different bits, and we can bring the rovers over. We can get all the components. We can bring it together. We can upgrade the rovers. We can get all the science and all that sort of stuff. That's brilliant. But the problem is that every single inventory slot we have on the surface has something in it, where we need one of them free. And the two things that are filling it up, I don't think are things we can put on the ground. No, that's not enough. Oh my goodness, come on. Yeah, that should do it. I mean, we've got flags lying around all over the place. We ideally need to hide them because it just confuses me with all the different things that are about.
For sure.
I'll give that a try, Brandon. Right, let's see. Let's do that now. There we go. That should do it. We should be like within 100 meters, I think, of the base with this landing. So we're going to have loads of different bits and bobs, but I just don't think we're going to have any of the things that we really need. We've got a little bit of sideways motion on this, but we're slowly fixing that. 100 meters to go. Just tapping it. Tapping the throttle. Still a little bit of sideways motion. We'll be alright. Pretty sure we'll be okay.
Oh.
There we go.
It will probably work.
Yes, Brandon, that's right. Definitely. Okay, let's save that again, because we know how bouncy, terrible things. So we've got one rover that's upside down. Can these rovers help us at all? I don't think they can. They've got... The only things that they have got that might be good is they've got batteries. So we could, like, nick one of the batteries off the rover. This has got RCS ports, but, again, we've got no monopropellant tanks. So it's just... Yeah. Let's try the thing that you said. So let's EVA our engineer. And we'll look at... In his backpack, it's full of things. And the inventory, it's full of things. You said the crane? Okay. And you said I can put something on the floor. Oh, you can just put it on the floor. Thank goodness for that. Brilliant. Okay, let's go over to the rover. And if I'm sat on a rover, I don't need my RCS. So we can get rid of our EVA suit. Okay, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. I've got a drink, but I'm going to take a quick break anyway. Today was all about the science, and we're doing that. We're doing that a very good job of that. We are adding a fourth science station. We already had 2 in operation. We had 1 that was on the surface of the moon, not in operation. That now is in operation, and we have a brand new one on Minmus. So hopefully we'll be able to get that up and running very soon. So we're going to go be right back, and then when we come back, we'll get all the bits together and get this one processing. See you soon. I think. And we'll burn at a 45. Yeah, there was a movement thing or a in the sky, wasn't there? I saw that. So we're just going to gently burn until we get to. I forgot one of them had that. We bought it. We bought it, didn't we? That's one use. I think we need it. Problem solved. He's attacking everyone. Oh, come on. Right, Sixer, set the animals on Jackamak. Here we go. Come on, Sixer, just last long enough. Bit rich. Rescue real fella. Hopefully they don't kill Jackamak. There we go. Anyway, let's see if we... Right then, folks. All sorted. Let's get things up and rolling again. So, we've got our Kerbal, we've got propellant, we've got a rover. We're going to do a jump and go get it. We'll sort out the storage in a second. And unfortunately, the rovers are quite a distance away, but... Well, I say quite a distance. They're about 1 kilometre away. So we've got plenty of monopropellant. I could actually speed up a little bit. We can go 40 odd meters per second across the surface. It's just we have to start slowing down roughly now. So when you get halfway, you have to start slowing down again. It's like you spend half the distance accelerating and then the other half of the distance decelerating. But in space that is... Oh no! Brandon, we're going to have to do a flip again. A rover flip. This time it's Jesse Kaboom that's going to need to do it. Don't actually know where the other rover is though. Somewhere around here. Where's the other rover gone? I'm sure we had 2 rovers. Oh, one of them probably exploded when we did the loading thing. Oh, that's rubbish. Ah, that's really annoying. Oh well, never mind. It's too late now. We've still got 1 rover left. And we can still kit it out. And it should be very easy to turn over on this environment. There we go. A lot easier than the moon, eh?
Oh, for sure.
That's the difference. If for those of you who remember... So, whoa, steady. That's the problem with these rovers. On Mimus, look at it go. Oh, it's the joystick. Joystick just sent it crazy. Oh, this is going to be difficult to stop it from tipping. But at least we can transport items by attaching it to the rover. That's why we're doing this.
You're
So we
doing
can
wheelies on a moon made of ice cream.
pretty much, yeah. That's what's happening right now. It'd be nice if we could get rid of those bits off the bottom. We don't need them. Just leave them as debris. We've got, like I said, we've got a couple of batteries on this. Don't really need 2 batteries. There's not enough motorage. But the problem is it's actually quicker to EVA using the RCS jetpack than it is to drive the rover. But the reason why we're driving the rover is so that we can stick a load of things onto the rover. So actually we may as well go straight to the debris to pick up the bits. Let's try and get... Whoa, I was going to say let's try and get a bit of speed up, but the nose just goes down. I guess I could turn the reaction wheels on and off. Or I could just turn the wheel authority down so it doesn't, like, do as much. So, like, if I do wheelie and toggle the torque, I can't then push that back down again. So I can use the torque in, like, a potential crash scenario. Just toggling the torque. Just try and use this like a normal rover first.
I love how it's just made out of like a solar panel.
It's not made out of a solar panel. There's a metal beam. It's a metal beam, a seat, 4 wheels, some reaction wheels, and some batteries. That's all you need. We could
half the stuff I build.
Sorry?
Better than half the stuff I build.
It works quite well, and actually it's got a little bit of a slope backwards. And the wheelbase is narrower at the front, and it only drives from the back. The motors on the front, I think, are disabled, and the steering on the rear is disabled as well.
It's like my rover in Space Engineers.
Yes, hopefully this one won't explode, Egg.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty bad if it did.
That was the best clip. Just eggs rover just spinning around and exploding.
The best part of it was we celebrated that he did it right as then after it exploded. Okay, we're actually coming up to where we need to be, so we're going to start slowing down. Actually turning the torque off helps a little bit with the control. Actually, it helps a lot with the control. So there's a couple of solar panels here that we're going to steal. There's also an antenna, which means that... Oh, hang on. Is the probe there? Oh, the probe core isn't there. That's a shame, because if the probe core was still intact, we could have stuck it to the rover and driven it without a Kerbal.
Ooh, that could have been useful.
So now we're going to tell him to leave seat. There's lights on the front of this. I forgot about the lights on the front. And we'll go into build mode. So we can just get these solar panels, stick them on the back. We'll have them. We'll take the antenna, even though it's not connected to anything. That needs to be stuck somewhere. On the side? Why is that red? Oh, it's green in some positions. Brilliant.
Bit weird, isn't it?
I mean, what I could do is just stick these potentially on the front to make room.
You need like a pickup truck.
This is actually it. This is our pickup truck. The SAS module is going to be too big for us to have anything. Oh, the lighting. That'd be handy to have. So we'll stick them on the side. We'll take these little... oh, we don't want that. We don't want the docking port. That's pretty useless for us. We'll just grab all these little lights. Hopefully this doesn't like offset the center of mass too badly. And then what? I don't think there's anything of use at all on this module here. No, it's just engines and RCS ports, so we don't need that. There is something over here, but I think it's rock. Yep, it's a rock, so we can have Brandon do some science. So the probe core's gone, which would have been useful. RCS points are pointless because we don't have any monopropellant, and we don't really want a docking port. No, we don't really need a docking port. Okay, cool. Let's get back in this seat. I have to get relatively close to it to jump in, I think. Board.
Well, at least you managed to put all the stuff on it.
Put all the stuff on it, and now we can take all the stuff back and use it to upgrade. And what we can actually do is just enable the torque on this, and I should be able to just turn it round. There we go. Weep. That's ridiculous. Let's get it pointing the right way. There we go. So let's take the brakes off. See how the back wheels are spinning? And the front ones are doing the turning. That's how this rover works. I guess we could just like turn all the lights on. Got like so many lights now, it's ridiculous.
Well, you don't want your power going through the wheels that are turning.
You what?
You don't want the power going through the wheels that is turning.
Why? What do you mean?
Like the wheels that turn left and right.
Oh, you mean steering?
Yes.
Because when you say turning, I thought you meant turning as in the rotating.
No.
No. I mean, you could have four-wheel steering and four-wheel power, but I just don't think it would work out great.
Not
So
not on members with low gravity.
That's true, not on members with low gravity. So, there's actually traveling in a straight line is on these flats is actually really quite easy. That's not too bad. I'm just not doing it very fast because A, I don't want anything to explode, and B, I don't want to kill anyone. And we're not having to go very far distances anyway. So once we've done this, we'll go over to that science base, that old science base, and we'll take the parts off that.
So you're making a Frankenstein base.
He's gluing stuff up. He's gluing stuff from dead bases.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I've been muted. Nobody on stream. Thank you very much, Frederick. So what? I coughed, didn't I, while I was going on? So whilst I was driving over, I coughed and muted myself. But what I was saying is that like this base is not like what Egg just said, like a Frankenstein base. Its base is fine. It's just we've taken advantage of the extra things that are lying around. So I think what we'll do is we'll put one solar panel pack there. And I'll need to go around the other side to finish that one. I'll just attach the antenna like over here, just so I've got somewhere to put it. Then we'll jump off and we'll take this bit off. Can we take that off? No, we cannot take that part off there. Fair enough. It is structurally too sound apparently or something. We'll move this module here. Is that about right? So can we extend that? Which way is it? It's got the nubbin at the top. Yeah, it's a little bit too high. There we go. So we need more solar power, but that's okay. Oh, there's a probe on the old science base. We can add the probe to the buggy.
Ooh.
And then we can drive it around without having anybody on board.
Don't you need someone to re-equip all the stuff, though?
Yeah, I mean, if we're adding stuff on and off the buggy, then we will need an engineer on board. But what I'm saying is that we're not forced to have an engineer on board. Okay. So for this time, because I flew the old science base over here, I just realised I left all the lights on this. Never mind. I wonder if we could actually take the Science Junior, or whatever it's called. Stop, 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 full reverse, brakes. Oh, we're going to crash. We crashed. There we go.
Only a
Leave
slight
seat.
dink.
It was only a slight dink. Yeah, it's fine. So I don't know exactly what we're going to be able to do, but we'll definitely take the solar panels off. And we will stick them to something. Why wouldn't it let me stick it there?
Can you stick them to the solar panels?
Oh, maybe. I'll give that a go. No. It's being quite funny about it. I mean, it doesn't matter because we're not going to keep it on there. I mean, what I could potentially do is put these small solar panels on the rover and move the big one to the thing. What do you call it? To the base. Right, is that all of them? Yep, that's all of them. Can I move this onto the floor? Yes, I can. Okay, can we open the bay doors? Yes, we can. Do we need any of the science stuff? No, but let's just take it off and stick it lower down somewhere. There we go. Oh, there's a battery in there. Cannot detach due to part attachments. So we can take these lights. These lights are going to be good lights to use. I mean, they are huge compared to the buggy. We only need a couple of them.
I mean, lights use power.
Yeah, but very small amounts. So there we go. I'd love to be able to take the probe out of this, but I don't think I can. No. So I'm not sure exactly how all that's connected. But I think the only way we can get these parts is by crashing it.
Hey.
What do we think, folks? Should we try it?
Yeah.
Doesn't that risk? I don't know actually.
Risk what?
I was gonna say, doesn't that risk not being able to get the probe core bit? I mean, you can't get it anyway, so.
Exactly. I can't get it. So either I can't get it and I give up trying to get it, or we fly this upwards a little bit and crash it nearby a little bit. I think we should try it. I mean, I can't think of any reason why we wouldn't try it. I think maybe if we take the cone off, though, that might help us. I don't know if some of the bits will just despawn if they break in the way that they're going to. I'm going to take the cone off and just put it on the ground. So, there we go. Right then. We are now flying the Psi base. We're going to go up a little bit and then straight down into the ground. Well, not straight down. We're going to go across a little bit. So we're going to go... whoop, steady. Not that way. Not that way. Don't want to land on our Kerbal. Right, yeah, we're going to go...
Don't crash into the rover.
Yeah, we're fine over here. So we're going to crash just about here. And I'm going to crash pretty much front down. About 12 meters per second. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Well, it just bounced. Okay, that didn't work. It literally just bounced around. I think we need to go faster. Okay, let's do it. Let's go faster. So that was, what did I say, 10 meters per second. How fast do you think we should go?
Well, I don't know.
I'm going to try 20. Or something similar. Right, there we are. We're going 6 minutes. Oh, we're going a little bit too close to the base. Try and put a bit of sideways on it. There we go. Here we go. We're coming in at 18. We're going to land on that service bay. Ooh. So the service bay popped out. Exploded. But the problem is I think this probe core is probably going to explode now. Which is a shame. And also it's travelling at 10 meters per second sideways. I mean, I don't know if we've got any... We've got limited probe control, so basically we can't control this. It's ballistic. We're going to have to wait until it comes to rest. But I think we can kind of make it come to rest using time acceleration. Oh, it exploded on impact.
Why does it say limited control if you've got no control?
Because if you had like solar panels connected to it, you could extend the solar panel. But you can't like control it. You can't like change its axis and stuff. Okay, we tried. We tried, and we are left with... I think none of those bits really survived, apart from we got the debris over there that we don't want. So, unfortunately, we didn't get the probe core. But we got...
Oh well.
We got the solar panels, which is what we came for. One thing, though, because that probe core exploded on top there... let's see if we can... try and get this... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Oh my... What, have I got torque control? It's disabled. Right, okay, let's try and fix that. Oh, it's the... Whoa, steady. No.
Wait, what's happening?
I've lost control of the rover because the joystick was in its bad position.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but I fixed the joystick and I managed to gain control.
I mean, Jesse looked like they were having fun.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't then. That was terrifying. Oh dear. Right, come on then. Wheel spin. So, we don't want the nose cone, but if we go to the debris, we might be able to get the Science Junior. I don't know. We'll give it a go. I don't think we will be able to. And then we'll just suck in all the science. Mission accomplished. It's very difficult to control these on Minimus. It's not too bad when you disable the SAS, the torque on the SAS. Because like the SAS module just completely takes over and flips it around and lifts the wheels off the ground. You lose your torque, you lose your traction.
It looks like a pain.
It's not... Yeah, but it is a pain, but it's not as bad. Right, that's probably close enough. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this off, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. What is all this slashing going on in chat? Okay, here we go. No, due to part attachments. I'm just going to take the antenna off, just in case it's anything to do with that. Due to part attachments. I could take the booster. Whoa, steady. I mean, I might be able to just slowly, completely just disassemble this until there's nothing left. Now, I am a little bit wary that it is now... Oh, here we go. Oh, I've got it. I managed to get the Science Junior off it.
Yay!
So we got that at least. The problem is I have no idea how we're going to get that to attach to this.
It does look a bit messy.
I mean, like, if I move the solar panels, I might be able to do it. On the back. There we go. Whoop. Okay, so that's made the back available. Yay! I did it. We've nicked a Science Junior. I mean, we could take that engine if we wanted to. Maybe even the fuel tank. I don't know why we would. I'm just going to leave these bits strewn across the surface of Minmus for now.
Just trashing the place.
Yeah, well... Right, hopefully with the extra mass, this will not just like immediately flip over or anything. But let's see... Let's turn the brakes off.
Extra mass probably helps with the traction.
You'd thought so, but I'm currently not steering very well. Oh no, we are starting to steer now. It is just like power sliding though. It's like the world's slowest power slide. There we go. Cool. I wasn't expecting to be able to get the Science Junior. I still don't think I'd be able to get that probe core, but again, we don't have to have the probe core. It was just a nice to have. There is a probe core on the actual base. We could take that out. Right, let's see if we can stop this without it all going horribly wrong. Actually, I've managed to almost swing it round, so now just reverse it in. Ah, that's lovely. I mean, I think we might bump a little. No, not quite. Nearly. Let's get it close, but not too close, like working distance. There we go. Right. Fantastic. All right, okay, leave the seat. Now, the first thing we're going to do is put those two big lights on in almost the same place as the other lights on the other side. So we've got plenty of lighting. I think it was something like this. Yeah, almost perfectly. Oh, that's right. That's exactly where I want it. Cool. What just exploded? Well done, physics. Well done, KSP physics. We'll put the science module on the end, if it will fit. Okay, will it just go on there? It should do. It doesn't really want to connect to that node for some reason. Oh, well, I think it had it then. There we go. Brilliant. Then we've got a few extra solar panels to put on. I guess across the top would be the best place because it's going to get the most average sunlight. Try and get it more or less in the right place. There we go. I'm going to leave the 2 batteries on the rover. The rover's got some extra lights which we will just... I don't know where we'll put them. Maybe I'll put one like... How many have we got and where are they? Where have they gone? I think I've only got 2 extra lights. No idea where the other lights have gone. But we'll put them down here. Just so that we get some lights near our science modules. And then the other antenna we'll just, I don't know, put on the back. I don't know, we don't need that. There we go. I think that is absolutely everything we wanted to do. So now if we check the inventories, we can put the parachute back on. And put the parachute...
science now.
Well, I mean, I think Brandon's already been doing science, I'm not sure, but we need to get on board. So to get on board, we need to go around the other side for some reason. I suppose really we could, if we're always going to exit on this side, we should move the science to that side. And the ladder. Shouldn't we? If for some reason this is the main side, let's put the ladder there. Get it angled correctly. So that we can actually get in and out. And we'll just quickly move the science to the other side as well. Mystery go. Above the hatch. I mean, I don't think we actually need to go outside to do any of these science experiments. I think we can just do them from inside anyway.
Well,
but it's just...
Apart from the goal.
Sorry?
Apart from the goal.
The what?
The goal.
The Gulf?
Yeah, the science pack thing.
Oh, right, yeah. The Gulf. I forgot. No, I was talking about these components. We should be able to do that all from the inside. So that is now us upgraded. We do need to extend the solar panels, but we should be able to now climb our ladder, board, extend these 2 extras new solar panels. So now we have, I would say, 1, 2... getting close to double what we had before. According to this, our resources is only 10% electrical charge. I mean 10 electrical charge. So there's no batteries on this at all. That's not good. I think we probably need to borrow a battery from the rover. Yeah, let's borrow a battery from the rover. At least we can just EVA and go straight into Diggy mode. Actually, we could just permanently borrow the batteries and then put them back if we need them. There we go. Board. There we are, 210. Brilliant. So now if we start processing the science, it will still go down. Oh, it's not going down now. We've managed to add enough solar panels so that it doesn't constantly go down. Fantastic.
Yay.
Brilliant. I don't remember exactly. Oh, what we got? We've got only 37 data though, but we have actually got data we can add. So it's this. This is the EVA science experiment we brought with us. 860 data that's worth. So we've added that in, and then the surface sample we've added. Oh, that's 1,030. Wow,
So-
we've nearly filled it up.
Just me from playing golf got us like 500.
Yep. So we've got the option to clean experiments. Presumably that's the Science Junior. And then once we've done that, we can probably run the Science Junior again. And as we're cleaning it, it looks like electrical charge is dropping. Just turn the lights off. Doesn't really make a difference. I like that lights hardly make a difference, because lights are mostly just an aesthetic thing. And in a game like this, I don't like to be penalised for going, oh, I'd like to make this look nice, or I'd like to be able to see what I'm doing as a player. Like the Kerbals could have lights on their helmets, they'd be fine. But as a player, I want to be able to see what I'm doing, and I just think it's brilliant that they've it hardly takes up anything. So we can actually conduct the study and add another 860 science to the pot.
Well, it's kind of realistic. Lights don't take much power.
Oh, I suppose. I mean, it depends what
on
you're
the light.
comparing them. Yeah, it depends what you're comparing them to as well, doesn't it? Let's clean that experiment again. So let's just do log seismic data. Are we full? Yeah, we're full of science.
See, we need more science tags.
Was full of full of data, so jobs are good. And what we can do is we can get Brandon to get on the buggy and go out for a little drive over to this ridge. Then he'll no longer be in the flats and get that science again from an entirely different location.
What do we do with done data?
Data gets turned into science within the lab.
Yeah, what do we do with that? Do we send it back, or...?
Yeah, we transmit it back. So this transmitter will likely transmit to the space station that's orbiting, or one of the relays that we've got orbiting, and then that will go back to Kerbin as science. Why is there a question mark? Why is that question mark thing?
Maybe it just doesn't know what it is.
It's probably all this trash over here. Okay, let's make sure that this has got an appropriate name. I think we're inside the Science Junior there. There's the probe. Configure vessel naming. Here we go. So this is now Min. Base? I can't remember what we called it, but it is the base. It's the Minmus base. Okay, cool. Let's go to the tracking station. Okay. Let's just check a couple of things here. I've got some messages, just making sure it's nothing important. Nope, we're all good. So let's turn flags off. So now we've got Moon Psi Base, Moon Base, Moose Space Station, Kerbal Space Station, Minmus Space Station. Turn the comsats off. Minmus Rover 1, Minmus Rover 2 got destroyed by physics. And we've got Moon Rover 1 and 2, the Eve Explorer, the experiment unit on the moon, the Moon Scrapyard, which is that lander that we just attached everything to, Moon Lander 2, which is the lander which will take the people that are currently at the base back home again afterwards, our fuel station, our fuel truck. There's a TR-10 second stage somewhere, apparently, in orbit of the moon. We've got the owl, and then we've got the lab, which is just, I think, some of the crashed components. Then the Minimus base. And more TN-10 labs. And then, we've got the nose cone and all sorts. Look at all these bits of debris that we've got there. Illuminators, mystery goo containment units. We'll probably... Yeah, we'll have to terminate them. But I'll clean that up between streams. So what we'll do is we will use... Because Jesse over at the... Or is it... No, it's not Jesse. Who's at the Moon Space Station? Whoever's at the Moon Space Station, I think it might actually be J-Bay. They're level 3, so they'll process the science fastest. If we do some fast forwarding, we can actually get a full batch of science from each of the labs and see how much science that's going to get us, which will be interesting. And science yummy, of course. So currently we're at 90. We want that to get up to 500. So I guess we can do some fast forwarding and just see what happens. So this space station's been going for over a year. We might need to be careful that we don't fail some of our contracts because of how long left we've got to achieve them. Yeah. I'm not bothered about that one. Let's do it anyway. Here we go. So it's nearly 2 years this has been going round. We're going at 100 times speed. And you can see that the science is ticking up, but it's really slow. So let's go to 1,000 times speed. $10,000 times speed? Oh my goodness. The days are passing by now.
Fast.
The science is shooting up though. Should we go one more step faster? Here we go. Whoa! Okay. So whilst we were doing that, the owl found 2 comets.
Ooh.
Which is fantastic. That's that contract complete. 79 grand. I'm a little bit concerned about why we haven't done this one down here. The deployed seismic sensor science from the surface of the moon. Let's just nip down there and see what's going on. And then we probably ought to do a couple of quick saves because of things bouncing around. I wish they... There we go.
It says collected 0% of 50%.
Yeah, but when I did the other one, that just happened by itself. So, quick save, and then can we warp to sunrise? There we go. So the base should be nearby. Yep, there it is over there. Let's see if we can switch to it. We can. So if we just get Real Fella, our scientist, out. Just out of interest, how much science is in there? Oh, we can't look at the moment. Never mind. Interesting way of getting down, Real Fella. So let's see what's going on here. Why is this not actually working? Because I deployed it pretty similar. So pick up part, disable part. Science rate 45. Power state powered. Powered required 1. Module enabled true. Module deployed true. Okay. The solar panel. Power produced 3. Module enabled true. Module deployed true. Okay, strange. The Communitron is powered. So that's all good. Module enabled true. Module deployed true. And the overall information here says experiments connected 1. Com signal is 1. Power needed 3. Power available 3. Enabled true. Okay, so it's all should be working. Why is it not in... Do I need to interact with this at least once for it to start doing stuff?
Maybe.
That's a bit concerning. I don't actually know the answer to that question. So we'll just get back on board and we'll see how it goes. Climb up. There we go. So how much is this lab done? 0. Why? Oh, I forgot to click start research on this lab. Oh dear. Okay, never mind. We're good. We're good. Level up crew? We're not going to do that. Okay, let's go back up to that space station. I don't know why this set of experiments isn't working. No idea, actually. Any theories, anyone? Why that set of experiments wouldn't be working?
Apparently you need seismic sensors,
Yeah.
and then you right-click it, and it says
Yeah.
take seismic reading.
Okay, let's go back down there and just double check that again. So, let's just check that. So I have to right click it as the player or as the Kerbal.
Doesn't say.
No, it doesn't give me any options as the player at all, apart from...
You do need a Kerbal near it though to collect the data as an EVA.
Well, we didn't have a...
You right-click it and retrieve data when it's done, apparently.
Apparently you have to smash something into the ground near it.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. I mean, we do actually have a vessel nearby that we don't need. We have the scrapyard. I mean, I'm doing this for the what do you call it? The contract. The contract is to collect the deployed seismic sensor of the moon. So that's why we're doing that particular one. So I guess, like, this has fuel in it. There is no reason why we can't bump this into the ground. And I don't know how nearby it has to be. But we do have no probe control. Because the solar panels were retracted.
Probably want to take off anything useful from that before you end up smashing it into the ground.
Yeah, but I kind of already have.
Oh.
I don't think there's anything I really need from there at all. We could
Well,
get our
other than
engine...
the probe core, not really.
Yeah, well, the probe core's not even useful. We've got 4 or 5 probe cores over there near the moon base. So I guess if we get somebody over there to just quickly open up the solar panels, we'll get control of it and we'll give it a little nudge. I guess it doesn't have to smash to pieces. I guess if it just bumps into the ground. Can I not open up that? Oh, can I just not open up that panel? Oop, steady. Oh, I just went and jumped over it. My perspective was wrong. There we go. Here we go. Nearly missed it altogether again. I suppose if I do it from above, we'll be alright. Alright, okay, let's board that. Open up. Seriously, an engineer cannot open the solar panels.
What?
What?
Maybe it has to be outside of it. Has it got power? No, it's not got power.
It doesn't.
You should
should
power to open the solar panel.
You don't
Yeah.
need power to open up the solar panels normally. I think it's because maybe it has to be. A pilot? I don't know, actually. Maybe a scientist might be able to do it. Oh, wait, there we go. He's close enough now he can do it. Everything's fine. Ah! I keep thinking we're on Minmus and I'm being a little bit more ruthless with the manoeuvring, and it's not good. Come on! Ugh. Everything feels so much more heavier. There we go. Come on, let's get Nudger in the lab. We may as well. Right. Board. Right, okay. So in theory, we can switch to this thing now. And do some bouncing. So let's... electrical charge is going up. I guess... if we retract the legs... and just do like a little bit of throttle. I think we have to turn the engine on. No, the engines are still turned on. Let's give this a go then, I guess. Oh, hang on a minute. My throttle's not working. Oh, hang on a minute. We got not connected. Oh, are you telling me I took the antenna off? Pretty sure I have to crash it for it to count. Something like mass times speed with an extra bonus with points at how close you are to the size monitor. Ugh.
That's wacky.
Also, I need to put an antenna on this.
Oh.
Okay then, fine. EVA, check your pack. I'm not sure if I can actually carry an antenna. I think it's too heavy. So, I guess use my monopropellant to go over there and drive one of the trucks over. Borrow the antenna from that and then smash it into the ground and see what we got left. I guess, by the sounds of it, like how hard you smash it into the ground is like really important. So we want to get it quite close, but really like full throttle it into the ground. Here we go. So if we disconnect that, I should be able to drive this. So we've disconnected. Brakes are off. Well, we've got steering. It's almost as if the brakes are on. Yep, there we go. Toggling the brakes fixed it. I just need to be careful not to run over our Kerbal. But these little tug rovers that we put on the moon are actually really easy to drive when they're not attached to a base. So if we just get this relatively close. There we go. We should be able to switch to our Kerbal. Borrow one of the antennas and stick it on the aircraft. Then we'll have control. I guess drive it back again. There we go. Got to be careful with this though. Got to try and dock this, which means we've got to slam it into the base a little bit. Right. Without running over the science experiments. Or the flag that we planted. Or anything else. Okay, here we go. Just trying to get everything lined up nicely. We need, I think, a tiny bit more height. Okay, let's try that. Cool. That worked beautifully. Target extension down and transfer over. And we need to get our Kerbal to leg it. Hopefully, we don't actually smash it too close into the ground. But I'm hoping that smashing this particular little rocket should at least complete the contract. Should, maybe. We'll see. Okay. That's a sweet looking base. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's kind of been happened by accident, and this base can just be driven around. It doesn't handle well. It wasn't designed to be driven around. It's a happy accident. The idea is that these tug vessels would be there to configure a bigger base of all of like loads of these modules, but then I never needed anything more than what we've got here, and these two actually managed to move the base around, which is really nice. Okay, I'm going to sort of end. It's going to be very close towards the end. The stream with a big smash. So we've got signal through a relay. We can transmit science. We've gone through the we're actually using one of the comsats right now to control this. So we've got plenty of fuel. So I think what we'll do is we'll get ourselves throttled up to go upwards. And then we'll just get a top-down view and just like try and smash it right here. Okay, here we go. So we're going to give ourselves a good bit of height. And I'm going to move it so that we get... Oh, we've got so much monopropellant ports, it's unreal. I'm going to try and get it a little bit closer to the base without it being too close. Where are we pointing? Okay, we're 400 up. Full power. Oh! How much did we collect? Well, none of it's been transmitted yet.
Yeah, you need to get a Kerbal to transmit it, I think.
Well, no, because we've got the antenna thing, so it should automatically transmit, I think. We got like 8 messages at once there, so let me have a look. Surface deployed seismic sensor gathered 0.3 science by an impact energy of 5%, a distance of 4%, and a setup of 45 means we've got 0.3 science points.
Wow. That's awful.
And then we got various messages saying that everything exploded. I'm pretty sure that was nowhere near enough. We have now got bits of debris all over the moon as well. So we've smashed stuff around on Minmus. We've smashed stuff around on the moon. I don't think we're going to be able to complete that particular contract today. Something else just exploded. Hopefully it wasn't Lander 2. No, Lander 2's fine. So we will do another quick save. Right, let's go up to the tracking... up to the space station and see if we can get a bunch of science from each and see then what we can unlock. So let's have a look at the situation. We're at 141 science. Everything seems pretty stable. Let's do some time warping. So this is 10,000. We can actually step it up by another one. 100,000. Look at that. Days are ticking by. 40, 350, 350, 360, 370 days. And it's going well. It'd probably be better if we had more Kerbals. That's 400 days. I don't know how it's 1 year and 400 days. I don't know how many... Oh, but there is 500 science from this particular module. So now what we'll do is transmit that science, which will take a little bit of time to do. and we'll do the same for each of the science bases and see what we've got. I've got a feeling that we're going to do quite well out of this. We're going to need more science up here, and I don't know exactly where we're going to get it. I think what we'll do is maybe bring the lander back up, refuel it, fly it to a much higher orbit around the moon, and do all the science, bring it back. So, like, you know, when you're high above the moon? Because I don't know if we've done that yet. Does this transmission go faster if I speed up time? Yes, it looks like it does go faster. Brilliant. Okay, so that's 500 science sent back from there. Let's now go back to the base and see how much science we got transmitted from there. So bear in mind, we only just started producing science here, so we're not going to have 500. And our Kerbal... That's not what I thought it was. That is the old science base. We want the new science base. There's just so much debris and rubbish down here now. I just hope that the game doesn't go a little bit crazy. Oh, there it is. It's over there. So here we go. We can now have a look, and we've got... Oh, actually, we have nearly got 500 science. I wonder if Real Fella actually contributes 4.2 science a day. I wonder if actually having more people on board helps, whether they're scientists or not.
I have no idea.
We'll have to compare that.
But I think scientists help.
Okay, so 4.22 science a day down here. If we go back up to the space station and just check that, then we'll go to Minmus. Yeah, I know, but I can check it in game. So here we go. 2.4. Did I say 4 point something? I did, didn't I? So the engineer actually made it go a lot quicker.
Also, I have to go for now, I think. So have fun.
Okay, well, we're pretty much near the end anyway, so thank you very much for hanging out with us, Brandon. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
See ya.
Well, that is a little bit of a turn up for the books. Jackamak, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I just saw that you was unmuted and I didn't know whether you was.
I was going to say goodbye, but I was too late to the mic.
Oh, I see. Okay. Let's see, what's that? That's a contract request. Let's turn off rovers. We'll turn off debris. We'll turn off unknown things, and that should give us a much better list. So we'll go to the Minmus base, and because there's 2 people in the Minmus base, then that should have processed quicker. It might actually be worth us sending an engineer to each of the space stations as well, so that 1 scientist and 1 engineer is at every lab. Whether it's just for consistency or what, I have no idea. It's a bit dark. Let's turn the lights on. And this one isn't going to be as productive, even though it's still 498 science. This one's going at 5 science a day. So I guess because it's at Minmus, it gets more of a bonus. Oh, no. It's not because there's 2 people on board. It's because it's on the surface of a planet and not in orbit. Or I say on the surface of a body. We're going to struggle to transmit all this science, especially at night time. So what I will do is I will set the antenna to require... okay. We'll warp to sunrise. And then we'll set required complete to no. So it can send it up in parts. Allow partial. It's because of the data. The more data you have, the faster it converts. Interesting. I thought it was because it's the rate conversion, and the rate conversion is higher because we are on the planet's surface. So I'm going to do stop researching and transmit. And I don't know how much charge this is. Oh, we're not quite keeping up with our solar panels. So we did transmit like hardly any of it. Maybe later in the day. Transmit science. So 4.99. Are we allowed to do like I said, a partial? Or are we actually going to have to put some proper batteries on this? No. It's not letting it do it. Oh dear. Yeah, I did that already. I changed it to allow partial. Allow complete. Require complete? Did you do it for all the antenna you have? I mean, we do have another antenna on the back here, but it's not either... Like, let's do allow partial, allow partial. That's both of the antennas on there. So I guess let's give it another shot. I mean, the other one isn't... Oh, look, it just extended. That might be the problem. The other antenna. Intense whooshing. Yeah, it's doing it. It's doing it slowly. There we are. Thank you very much, Intense Whooshing. You found it. It was the second antenna. So we should be able to just time warp a little. I don't really want to go any more than 10 times, but it's going up there. 36%, 40%. Okay, so as that bit's going up there, I'm going to take the opportunity to remind you of a couple of things. First up is our Viewer Plus program. If you want to support the channel, this is the best way. You get to donate money directly to me, and you get a number of benefits in return. Also, it looks like there's a couple of things missing off this scene, and I don't know why. I'll have to check that out. And then we've got... what have we got coming up? So tomorrow is some Space Engineers with the Viewer Plus subscribers, roughly at UK lunchtime. And that's a slightly extended one. Normally we do it for about 50 minutes. We're going to be probably doing it for about an hour and a half, which will be quite nice. And then Thursday night, we've got our RimWorld Let's Play. And then Friday lunchtime is a chill and chat. Remember, my schedule's on the website. You can also look at my schedule on Twitch. And you can see the planned live streams on YouTube and on Facebook. So there's plenty of places to get the information wherever you choose to do so. But there we go. We have transmitted all of our science. So that's now both of those done. Did we transmit the ones from the surface of the moon? We did do, didn't we? So now we just have to do the one in orbit of Kerbal. And I think we'll be all right. And that should be around 2,000 science. Just from transmitting all of that back each time. And we've got quite a lot of data at most of these places to keep us going for a little while. So it may be that we can have a good few thousand science just from transmit, fast forward, transmit to use up the data that we've gathered. And then maybe next time, or maybe I'll do it on the Viewer Plus server and on a Discord stream, we can get some more data collected. So we've got a full load of science, so we're going to transmit that science back. Again, we'll just do a little bit of fast forwarding. 60%, 70 odd, 80, 90, nearly done, and transmitted. We should now, we've got one piece of data here that we can now add into our science pool there. That's brilliant. And let's go back to our space center. I think this figure will be above 2,000, and I think that's the most science we've ever got in any episode of any KSP series ever. Let's find out. Here we go. And our survey says... I can hear... Yes, there it is. 2,152.5 science. Absolutely fantastic. We've smashed the science goals for today. Absolutely smashed it. Today it was all about getting science, and we did some weird things to get there. We did some discovering. We did some testing. We tried a few things. We looked up some things on the wiki. We've deployed a brand new base. We converted the base and upgraded the base with spare bits. We've deployed people on different bodies, and oh my goodness, has it been worth it? Has it defo? So not only can we unlock some of these in the 300 science points area, but we can start getting some of these in the 550 area. So I think with our 2000, we'll finish off this entire section here. So we're going to have the large volume containment, which gives us the, I think it's the, what width is it? I can't remember what width. I think it's like the 2.5, no, maybe the 5 meter tanks, but they are huge. So we get massive tanks. We get the docking ports, decouplers, and we got the inflatable airlock, whatever that is, to try about. There we go. We've got composites, which gives us new protective shells, new plates, beams. We get engine plates and more flags. We get structural panels, more beams. We get a inline clampertron, which can be interesting, as well as other various different bits of components and more structural tubes. And then we get heavy landing, which is going to be brilliant for making fantastically large aircraft. And then we've still got enough science to unlock something else. We're only 50 odd science away from unlocking the aerospace tech, but there is not much stopping us now. What is going to be the thing that's going to help us out the most, I think? Like, probably some of these drone cores might be good. The probe units and guidance units could be brilliant. These rover wheels, these rugged vehicular rover wheels are fantastic. They're huge. They're great for moving things around. We can get these heavy rotors, so we can make aircraft potentially. Let's go with that one for now, the advanced motors. There we go. So we haven't got a massive amount left to unlock, and we've got a very good science setup to do it. So thank you very much to some of the Viewer Plus subscribers for popping on the voice chat with me today. Having a back and forth conversation rather than me constantly talking has saved my voice a little bit. Hopefully it'll be better for tomorrow. It almost feels as if I've eaten something I shouldn't have, like one of my allergies that irritate me. But I can't think of what it is.
No, not peanut.
Sorry?
Didn't you have a peanut?
No, not peanut. I've got this oral allergy syndrome thing. So basically, there's a small group of foods that if I eat raw, will aggravate the inside of my body, make it like flare up and swell. So like my lips and throat and the inside of my mouth can swell up, and it feels a little like that. I think raw almonds on the list, raw apple. I think raw pear. So I can't just pick up an apple and eat it, but I can eat applesauce or apple pie. So I'm cool with that. Anyway, it's not particularly interesting, but it's just a little weird quirk that, yeah, something's not right. So we'll see. Maybe my voice will be a little bit more spared during Space Engineers tomorrow, because there's going to be a lot going on with a lot of people talking, I think. So join us for that. But that's going to be all for now on Kerbal Space Program. Looks like at some point the statistics for chat crashed, but I was still getting the chats, so that's fine. I'm not going to worry about that too much. But I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care, and from me and from the Viewer Plus subscribers that are here now, it's good night. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.